Sean, you are looking live at one of the great venues in American sport, the Fog Allen Fieldhouse, Lawrence, Kansas, ready to rock here tonight. They're even putting on headphones. It is so noisy here already. A Southern sellout crowd, and it is the biggest rivalry in the Big 12. Big Monday, presented by Bud Light, continues. It's part of Rivalry Week, presented by Cisco. Tonight, the Missouri Tigers travel to Lawrence, to one of the most storied venues in basketball, the Fog Allen Fieldhouse. And they take on their arch rival, the Kansas Jayhawks. Good evening, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger with Bob Knight. Thanks for dropping by. Bob, we know how Missouri likes to play. They go baseline to baseline, belly to belly. What about that press here tonight?
Well, you know, as we've talked in the past, there are a couple of things that can happen. It can be positive. Secondly, it can be negative for the team that's pressing, and maybe you're going to have to get out of it at some time. They can't let the press, the Missouri press, be part of Kansas offense tonight.
Now, if you're Bill Self, how do you keep the Jayhawks focused as we reach the dog days of February, if you will, in college hoops?
Hey, if we don't play well tonight, we're going to run our tails off tomorrow in practice.
Well, if you take a look at the history of this series, Kansas has dominated it, especially lately, where they have won the last 11 games here in Lawrence. And for more on the border war, let's go to Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, guys, this might be the only rivalry in the country that was actually born in war. Back in 1854, when Kansas and Missouri were just territories, they had to go to battle. Well, that hatred has trickled down ever since, and these students haven't forgot about it. Look at the hatred exhibited on their T-shirts tonight. When I asked some of the students what's the best way to describe this rivalry, they said the word is hate, and even that might not be strong enough.
All right, Holly. Ready to rock our world. Our starting lineups. Missouri changed, and Phil Pressey and Matt Pressey started on Saturday, brought a win. Kim English again off the bench. A change for the Jayhawks because of an injury. Freshman guard Josh Selby is out. Taylor, Morningstar, Reed to backcourt. The Morris twins up front. Let this crowd bring it home now. First possession, Jayhawks.
They start right out with Morningstar running the baseline.
Marcus Morris misses the first shot of the game. Defensive rebound, headman, and this is the older Pressey. There's his younger brother, Flip Pressey, as he is known, #1 in the backcourt. This is Denman, #12.
Matt Pressey did a really good thing there, just holding the ball back. They don't want to get in a real running contest with Kansas, and he set it up where made a turnover there, though.
And McKeith has it stripped away at the baseline out of bounds, but the Jayhawks were denied a driving layup, as you see Selby. Now he has an injured right foot, okay, and he is wearing a walking cast tonight on that right foot. It is not fractured. And Coach Self told us today at practice he expects him back over the weekend. In an emergency, he said he could play tonight. He doesn't want to risk it.
Kansas gets a lot of movement out of Markeith and Marcus on the baseline. They can both step out and shoot it. Both of them can drive it.
Taylor penetrates, driving left-hand net there. And another defensive takeaway, one and done. Very important in this game if you're Mizzou. looking for scores. They turn it over again. Morningstar this time. He misses, but the putback by Taylor.
You know, a lot of kids would have thought Morningstar had an easy bucket, but Taylor stayed with it all the way for 90 feet. That was a real hustle play by Taylor.
Denman battles his way to the free throw line.
We're going to see Morningstar get the steal up here. Really good defense. But look at Taylor coming right after it. That looks like a layup line basket. But Taylor didn't stay out away from it. He went in and got the bucket.
Marcus Denman from Kansas City puts the Tigers on the scoreboard here.
Missouri's had 2 turnovers here. They just can't keep doing that. But they have had patience. Although they've turned it over twice, their offensive patience is going to be important to them in this game.
Sort of a three-quarter pickup here by Phil, known as Flip Pressey, the freshman from Dallas. These are the 2 sons of Paul Pressey, now an NBA coach, longtime NBA player.
There the Morrises had high-low.
Reed on a fadeaway, knocks it down from the right baseline. Tyrell Reed from Burlington, Kansas. High pick, flip kicks back to Denman. The 3-ball, just short front of the iron. Offensive put back by Ratliff, and that is huge if they're going to get offensive rebounds here.
No question, because the 2 Morrises can eliminate the offensive board to another team, and with Ratliff slipping in there and getting that bucket, that was a big bucket for him to have early.
And a foul out on top by Phil Pressey. So there is Mike Anderson, 5th-year at Mizzou. Learned full court pressure basketball from Nolan Richardson. Played for him at Tulsa. Competed against him in a JC championship. So he has known the family, Richardson family, the Paul Pressey family. Pressey was on that team for a long time. Here now is Markeith. Jump hooks a beauty.
The Morrises are very, very good posters, Brent. They spread themselves out elbow to elbow. They have a wide post position. It's hard to get around them.
Bowers spin move baseline, beautiful into the paint that time out.
Oh, that was a great move.
Taylor right back at you the other way for the Jayhawks. And it's one and done, and here they come again, trying to press the floor, and Denman wisely pulls it out.
I've been really impressed with the way Missouri has waited to set up their offense rather than trying to force something. It makes Kansas play defense, which is huge.
Great pass, and Bowers again, but what a pass from Flip Pressey.
Pressey took that drive as though he were looking for somebody to get open. He had Bowers in mind all the way down the lane.
Missouri has rebounded very well. Keith, Marcus is on the other side. Morningstar, pull up Jay. Three ball launched, and it's on target from Ricardo Ratliff, a junior from Hampton, Virginia. Here's Keefe, spin it in. Markeith Morris drives for the layup.
Right hand, left hand. Each of those 2 twins can go either direction in the post with the ball and score.
This is a fans kind of start. Up and down, good shooting, good rebounding. Bowers fades it. We could have one brewing here.
You know, Ratliff made a good move there. He got stopped on the baseline drive, and he just held the ball for a moment looking for somebody, and then Bowers relieved the pressure and ended up with a bucket out of it.
Here's Reed left alone. 3 ball, not there. Bowers very impressed with how the Mizzou Tigers are hitting the glass. Denman crashes in, a little bit out of control.
College basketball whip around, Tuesday through Thursday at 6:30 on ESPNU.
15:06 left here in the first half. Missouri leads Kansas 13-10. They have shot 5 of 6 from the floor to the Jayhawks 5 of 10. And Bob, take us down low here.
We're going to look at Markeith in the post. going to be a good pass into him from Reed. Passes it away from the defense. This is perfect. Look at that pass going to the left hand away from. Now, Markieff comes back. He takes him into the middle. Good spin move. All right, now we're going to see him on the other side. Again, the pass away from the post defense. That's so important in post play, is to not let that defensive post man have a chance to get the ball.
Mario Little has checked in. And also Thomas Robinson, and the Morris twins will take a break. The ball was kicked by Mizzou out of bounds with 23 on the shot. Morningstar will step over Coach Self and take it out of bounds. So Little and Robinson are on the floor. Taylor stays out there, as does Morningstar, and Elijah Johnson seeing his first action also. Morningstar up high, and they work it around to the right side.
The important thing so far, Brent, is that Missouri does not have to overcome an opening of the game deficit.
So Little off the bench with an offensive rebound, stays with it and scores. An immediate contribution off the Jayhawk bench, and now they go to pressure.
Missouri's still in good shape, really good shape. They haven't had to force anything. They've got to stay patient.
Jayhawks have tested young Prusy, the point guard who's got a fine future, but at this point he's still a freshman, and there's a foul against Kansas.
Kansas got a little bit hung up on their switch that time and didn't really complete the switch. They got caught playing 2-on-1, and that resulted in an over-aggressiveness for the foul.
Now Mike Anderson will hit the Pines, and Kim English checks in. He came in on Saturday afternoon and scored 21. He had been in a bit of a shooting slump, and coach feels that it just relaxes him when he brings him off the bench. And also Justin Safford on the floor.
I think anticipating how tough this game is going to be, the coaches have substituted perhaps more than usual at the beginning of the game just to keep people fresh.
Safford thought about it. Now Dixon running the point. Dixon penetrates, throws it up. Offensive rebound and a putback for Ricardo Ratliff again.
You know, when a shot's taken on a drive from one side of the lane, you've got to make darn sure that you block out from the other side of the lane, because that's the guy that's going to get it. We're going to see it here. Drive's going to come from the right. Good penetration right here. Gets to the bucket. No block out on the offside. You've got to have block out. That was a situation where Morningstar had to come in and help out with the block out.
Meanwhile, Ratliff fouls at this end, sending Robinson, Thomas Robinson, the sophomore from Washington, to the free throw line.
You like Robinson, Brent, and justifiably so. You've been really good about him because he does bring things with him off the bench. It doesn't alter the way they play one bit when he comes in. Except maybe as a free throw shooter.
Yeah, didn't perform at the line that time. Safford quickly to the attack now from Mizzou. Mizzou still up by 3. They move it over to the left side.
Missouri's movement and patience, I think, has really been good here.
English on the drive, and he puts himself on the free throw line.
A little bit of patience offensively. Move the ball, go from side to side, reverse the ball, and then create an opening. The defense gets a little bit lax. You get a step. That's when you've got an awfully good chance to get to the free throw line. 4 passes isn't just going to lead to a shot. It's going to lead to a lot of driving opportunities.
Tyrell Reed committed his first personal. You know, Bob, last year we were here and in this same game, and Kansas jumped all over them early and really took them right out of the game. This is a different looking Missouri team. Remember, it was 50-30 at the half last year. Bill Self and the Jayhawks dominated. This young Mizzou team has not backed away here. They've struggled on the road, as their fans know, here in the Big 12.
They're going to shoot that one again.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right about that. And a big part of it is their patience on offense. They're not coming down and taking a quick shot or missing a drive and have Kansas get a quick turnaround for a bucket at the other end. They've made Kansas work on defense, and the more you have to work on defense, it almost makes you slow down a little bit on offense. And Missouri's had great tempo to start this game.
The Twins are over at the scorer's table across the way. At the next stoppage, they'll be checking back. A great pass to Morningstar. There's the big man Robinson stepping out.
Dixon just got lost on the baseline. He has his back turned to the ball, playing the man, not knowing where the ball was. That was a huge defensive mistake on his part.
Moore and Krecklow have checked in for playing time for Mizzou at the last stoppage, so they're out on the floor right now. Anderson using a lot of players, just as Coach pointed out, because of the pace of this game. Dixon forces the throw and knocks it down. How about that under pressure from Johnson?
Dixon may have made up for turning his back on the ball a moment ago.
They build a 6 now. Robinson going to put it down on the drive, kick to the other side, offensive foul. Well, tomorrow night, rivalry week continues. It is the Big Ten, Indiana and Purdue at West Lafayette. And then SEC, Kentucky struggling on the road, but they'll host Tennessee down in Lexington. So we'll go Big Ten SEC as our rivalry week continues here on ESPN. Great lob inside. English fades. And one and done.
That's the quickest shot they've taken. That was a possession where they were not going to draw a foul.
And stepping out is Markieff Morris. Hits a three. Bill Self said, I'm not sure I want the Twins taking a three, but it's okay when they hit it.
Yeah, all coaches feel that way. But that being said, those two kids can shoot the ball. They can move out to 17 feet and shoot it.
Safford did not want to respond, but Dixon will. Dixon's knocked down his last 2 shots. 5 quick points for the youngster from Kansas City. There's a foul. Travel. Let me check myself. Marcus turned it over. A 5-point Missouri lead. The Tigers jump ahead of the number 2 team in the country. We welcome you back as the Missouri Tigers start out shooting 72.7%. 8 of 11 from the field. And Bob, you've noticed some things about this offense.
Well, I really like the patience that they've had. They brought the ball down and they've taken it to the bucket 3 or 4 times. But in doing so, they've gotten a couple of buckets and a drop-off pass for a basket. They've only had one time, Brett, where they forced something and drawn a charging foul or thrown the ball away, taking it to the bucket. They had a couple of bad turnovers early, but their offense has been really good. Here's Safford, makes a little fake, looks, finds Dixon alone at the top of the key, and really good work, Dixon coming into shot position.
Holly Rowe, what's it like with the Missouri huddle right now?
I would say very, very excited. They're very happy. Kim English was talking to the guys. He's like, guys, we're doing this together. The key to our success right now is going to be to keep moving the ball. When I talked to him before the game, they had a great game at Colorado this last game, and he had 21 points. He said the biggest difference was the ball wasn't getting stuck. They moved the ball. He kept putting that positive message to his teammates. They're feeling pretty good.
Dixon brings it up under Taylor pressure, and it will be Missouri ball. Crowd thought that they had turned it over on that far side. One note here with the Morris twins. Markieff has 7 points, and Marcus has yet to score. Marcus is their leading scorer. He, of course, is number 22, if you're not familiar with the Twins, and Markieff is 21.
They've got to be careful that Dixon doesn't dominate the ball here and end up trying to score off the dribble. They were doing really well reversing the ball. Now they're back to reversing the ball well. They got plenty of time.
One and done. And now here is Reed. And there's a foul on Dixon. Dixon fouled Reed.
That's the second bad foul that Missouri's had on half-court defense, way away from the bucket, when the problem with that is it isn't the individual that gets in trouble, it's the team when the opponent gets in that one-and-one too quickly.
Little has checked back in, replacing Morningstar for the Jayhawks. Marcus takes the ball out of bounds, and here is Taylor out on top.
Now they'll use a little ball screen over there, and then in that case, Markieff went back inside.
And Little pulls the trigger on a 2. That's 4 points for Mario Little. Now the Tigers need to answer here. Dixon gets inside of Taylor. Pass off, and they get to the free throw line, which is not the worst thing to do in this situation. Justin Safford from Bloomington, Illinois, the 6'9" senior, comes to the line.
Now Safford really had a great part in that play. Dixon took the ball and drive. We're going to reverse it here as Dixon comes off. Now he's going to take it down. He's got half a man. Now watch Safford move right there. Move to the bucket. Gave Dixon a target, and Dixon saw it and made the pass. That's why Safford's at the line.
And Reed, meanwhile, will take a seat as he has picked up his second foul here in the first half. 10:22 to go in the half. Jayhawks trailed once by 6, and now they've cut it to 4 here at the 10:20 mark. And Johnson back on the floor at the guard. Markieff, the high scorer, fade left baseline, 9 points for Keefe.
He has scored going to both his right shoulder and his left shoulder. That's what makes him so tough, as well as his brother inside.
English. Safford way off the mark.
Safford really contributing with his movement and his passing. There wasn't any reason for him to throw that one up on one pass. That, again, is just what they can't do.
Marcus makes a strong move, and he's in the scoring column with that driving layup as he ties it at 23.
Missouri's not playing as well defensively as they have up until this point. They've given up.
Pressing. Let's see what they do defensively here, Bob, on your point. They've got numbers against them. And the Jayhawks have lost control, turned it over.
That'd have been a really big bucket for Kansas to get there because they had things going their way. Missouri did a good job of forcing them to get it away from the bucket.
Well, now they have Ratliff and Bowers back on the floor, and those two really contributed in the early going. Both were 3 of 3 before they went over to the Pines and took a seat and took a break.
I like the patience that the two pressies have. They both look, they have good patience, they keep things moving. That was that penetration that you don't need.
And Little spots up 3. Yes, Jayhawks lead it.
Kansas has reacted really well to Little in the game. Little's made 4 or 5 very, very good plays in this little stretch they've had.
Ratliff puts it down, comes baseline, out of bounds. Tiger basketball.
The two Morrises, Markieff, they're an example. They're quick, Brent. Missouri tried a baseline drive, and Markieff got his right foot, outside foot, right on the baseline. Put that foot on the baseline, and the baseline becomes a great defensive player.
Zimmer kicks it inside now, and Ratliff up over the top. He's 4 of 4 from the floor.
He's made himself available very well to people driving, as was the case there.
Turn it over. Here comes Flip Pressey, and Taylor fouls him.
My guess is that Bill Self was telling Taylor, hey, don't take the ball into trouble. The guy's all over you. Get rid of it. Just give it up. Back off a dribble, throw it to somebody else, and play without the ball.
The Missouri people told me how well young Pressey played defensively against Colorado. How he frustrated the guards, that he just does not back away, even though he's a freshman, and he gives up size. There is the young man, number 1. He'll fire the 3. Yes. Oh, boy. 28-26. His first hoop puts Mizzou back in the lead.
They did a really good job doubling up inside.
Taylor comes back and misses the three. Battle underneath. Tap back, up and in. We'll see who gets credit. I thought it might have been Little. They load Ratliff. Hit Bowers out on top. Misses this time.
They'll look to go back to Morris. No, he didn't. He had a chance to go right back to Markeith inside, but didn't.
Taylor penetrates, drives, swoops, no. And the battle underneath and a hard fall Markeith. Bowers comes down on top of him.
No, that's just good play. Those two kids went after it really hard, end up with the jump ball situation.
And the ball will go over to Missouri. Just a great crowd here in Lawrence, Kansas. A tie game with Missouri, and the Jayhawks knotted at 28. We've talked about the two Pressey youngsters. Paul Pressey, their father, played for a long time in the NBA. Some of it, of course, with the Milwaukee Bucks. And he was an outstanding scoring guard for them and also could throw the ball. But watch him back down, that's Pops. And now, there's two boys who grew up calling Mike Anderson Uncle Mike are now Matt, a junior, played at a JC and transferred in. And the youngster, Phil, his point guard, comes in here with that average on the season. He injured his hand in practice. And to protect what was a small break on the top of the hand, you might have seen the tape on the right hand. And he also has some bandage underneath it, a little bit of a sponge that he wears just to protect it, but it hasn't hurt his shooting range, and that was a bad shot there that time. Too fast, air ball, and now the Jayhawks will try to make him pay.
Yeah, that's just exactly what you don't want out of the offense. That's the second time Dixon's taken a shot like that just wasn't necessary.
No, I think that time might have been Denman. Do you think?
Yeah, it was Denman.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
It was Denman taking the shot.
Because I think at that last, yeah. So here comes, but stolen by Pressey. Lead pass, and here comes Denman again. Great bounce pass, and the other Pressey. Matt Pressey drives through for the layup. His first field goal of the night.
Boy, that was great control going into the bucket like that. He did a great job of getting the bucket between him and the defender. And then Denman comes back from that bad shot and delivers a really good pass right here off the bounce. Look, under, past the defender, and takes it away from the block situation.
So Morningstar and Taylor bring it up. Robinson back on the floor. Little has 8 points off the bench here.
What's really critical, Brent, is that Missouri wants to get to the half right where they are now. Tied, real close, point or two ahead. They don't want to be down 8 or 10 at the half.
And Marcus Morris steps outside and drains a three. That's 5 for him here tonight. His brother with 9. From the right baseline, a big shot by Bowers.
And Phil Pressey really used the dribble to set up a pass. He had his eye on Bowers all that. That's what a guard's got to do. Have some patience. You're out there to get the ball to people first.
Little sends it back to Morningstar. Little attacks the paint. One and done, and here come the Tigers.
Little and Robinson got kind of confused in the post, but those two in the game, it's not nearly as smooth as when the two Morrises are in there in the
what
post.
A drive. Score the field goal.
All right, he comes off the ball screen. And Kansas a little bit slow moving to help side defense.
Wow, we'll take a break. The Missouri Tigers with a 3-point lead. Well, we welcome welcome you back with Bob Knight and Holly Rowe. I'm Brent Musburger. Bob, an overview. Some people might just be checking in. What are we seeing with this Missouri Tiger team here tonight?
You know, we've seen some depth with Missouri. Number one, we've used 8 players, and they've come in. Kids come in. They've done a really good job. And most important, on the defensive end, they've made Kansas slow down a little bit. They've done some things inside to defend, but perhaps number one overall is their offensive patience, looking to get shots or looking to get opportunities to drive. They've been very, very impressive at the offensive end.
Trying to load Robinson. He kicks back to Marcus Morris.
They're not as good with these 3 big guys in there as they are with 2 big guys. These things are kind of crowded and jammed up in there for them.
And one. Robinson puts it down. He'll come back to the free throw line. You know, Bob, we've talked about Thomas Robinson. And let's take a look at this.
Robinson really goes after the miss and just on sheer strength gets the bucket. But I like it when Robinson and one of the Morrises or both of the Morrises, and then they've got basically 3 perimeter players. I think with the 3 big kids, they're not as effective as they are with the 2 playing.
Holly, no one has had to overcome more this season than Thomas Robinson. Tell the folks that story. Might not have heard it.
Well, it's been well documented, but if you haven't heard it, he lost his grandparents in about a 2.5-week span. And then the night before the Texas game on January 22nd, he got the news from his 7-year-old sister, Jayla, that his mother had died. She was very young, and it came as a shock. Guys, it's been a very difficult few weeks for him, but he's had the support of this Kansas family.
Yeah, no question. And Holly, the team, of course, flew together to a memorial service. The little sister living with her father now. There's the team arriving at the service. I just can't say enough about what this young man, his mother was 37 years old.
You know, back to this Missouri on the half-court offense, Brent, that was one of the poorest offensive possessions they've had. A really quick shot. They didn't need the shot. Shot didn't come close. They end up with a foul 90 feet away from the Kansas basket. Now, that's the kind of thing that gets Missouri in trouble, and we saw a lot of it last year. Now, I've only seen 2 or 3 plays like that this year. That's why they're right in the ball game.
Morningstar's free throw, Bob, puts Jayhawks ahead by 1 here. 4.5 minutes about left in our first half. This is that time, and let's see now what Mizzou can do. Steve Moore, that big body from Kansas City, back on the floor for the Jayhawks. He's number 32.
They move the ball well from side to side. That's what creates offensive opportunities to drive. They get the defense a little bit behind when they reverse the ball, and then they've got a route to the bucket.
Here's Dixon trying to penetrate, forces his way in, and the ball will come back the other way on him. Markeith drives in, double teamed on the free throw line.
You know, the thing that they do, Brett, too, that we haven't discussed, both Marcus and Markeith, when they get it, they go hard to the bucket, and they're able to go up in a crowd and draw the foul. And a lot of guys in the post can't do that. But those guys get fouled in situations where other guys would not draw the foul.
Big 12 news and notes. The Longhorns rolling to 8-0 and on ESPN2 Wednesday night at Oklahoma. Oklahoma State hit Darrell Williams, a starter, has been charged with 4 felony counts. And Perry Jones, the freshman at Baylor, lit up the Aggies' career-high 27 points. And so those are some of your notes from around the Big 12 conference here. Missouri trying to break through with a road win, trailing by a point. They have shot 56% from the floor, and the Jayhawks have shot 55. Markeith Morris with 9 points, the leading scorer, along with Mario Little. Little off the bench has 9 points. Ricardo Ratliff for Mizzou with 9 is the leading scorer. Lawrence Bowers has pitched in 8.
Now, this is really crucial right here for Missouri. Kansas has come from 4-5 behind to go 2 ahead, and they just can't let it get to where they walk off the floor like 7, 8, 9 points ahead at the half.
We got 350 to work with, Coach. Here's the big body Moore. Kicks to a wide open Bowers, and it stays down. Big field goal for Lawrence Bowers out of Memphis, Tennessee.
What a great pass by Moore. The tendency for most kids would have been getting the ball for the first time inside. I got to try and score. Moore looked for a pass.
Foul is called. And looks like it's on Robinson. I believe that was the signal. It is on the Jayhawks. And I want to remind everybody that rivalry week will continue tomorrow night on ESPN. Big Ten, Indiana, and Purdue from West Lafayette. That's at 7. And then it'll be SEC, Tennessee, Kentucky coming up right after the Big Ten confrontation. Now the Hoosiers playing a little bit better. And then they ran into Iowa in Bloomington over the weekend, and the Hawkeyes played very well. That is the last foul, so it was
definitely a charge.
No question. It was Marcus who charged in, and he's over on the bench right now. That's his second personal foul, and Mizzou, English slips, turns it over. Game is tied at 36, 3:20 to go here in the first half.
You know, when you're bringing the ball across or into offensive play, try to bring it across the line, the 10-second line, in the middle of the floor. There's 15 feet in the middle of the floor that you want to cross. That enables you to go with the ball to either side. They got hung up there because English was glued against the sideline, and he couldn't go anywhere with it.
Little with a dozen points here in the first half. Jayhawks lead on his 3.
There, Dixon came across the middle. They can go either right or left. Now they can reverse the ball.
English has it knocked away. Loose ball. Morningstar. Headman. Robinson flushes it. A big burst here. The final 2.5 minutes. Robinson shaken up.
Boy, there's your guy Robinson again. He's made 2 really good plays here. We're going to see English make a mistake with the ball. He just over-dribbled it. And then a great look, and Robinson going at full tilt. Excellent play, excellent vision by Morningstar. He was observant as to what was happening.
Well, on Wednesday, even more great rivalry games coming your way. In the Big East, Georgetown and Syracuse, that's always a great matchup. And then North Carolina and Duke, Coach, at 9 o'clock. And North Carolina starting to find some answers. They're getting a little bit better. This might be a better ball game than we thought a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it will be, because they've got a little more confidence in their play. They've won some games. But I'll tell you what, I think Duke has done a great job without the really good little guard they have from New Jersey when he hurt that foot.
Now Irving out and maybe out for the season as Little commits the personal foul. Boy, has he turned in quality minutes. We talked about Robinson, but how about Mario Little with a dozen points here? But that is his second foul. That's his season high, hitting 5 of 7 for Bill Self.
If Kansas would have gotten the ball back here without any Missouri scoring, then they're in a position where now they can get up 8, 9 points. This is a huge set pair of free throws that Matt Pressey has here. He drops both of them in. That gives him a much better chance going in at the half than if there had not been a foul here.
The Pressey youngsters, this is the first time I've seen them in person. They have learned at the knee of their father, and they are good-looking basketball players. This is a good, solid team with them on the floor.
Missouri's in a little bit of a zone right now, a little 2-3. They're going to come out and pressure it, but
one and done, and there is Pressey fouled by Little. That's his third. That's his third foul.
And that's that 94-foot foul that you just can't have. He's fouled him all the way away from the bucket. Missouri did not have to work on, in any way, shape, or form to get these 2 points that Pressey's looking at. The 2 points he just got a moment ago. This has been crucial for Missouri to hang into this here at the end of the half when it looked like Kansas was going to pull away, Brent.
Now Matt Pressey will try to do what he just did. Hit the front end calmly. That's 3 in a row at the free throw line.
Well, he's got a nice touch. Watch how that ball goes up and over the front of the rim and then comes down into the bucket, the arc. Really a nice release. Look at that. Great release.
He shot him right back in with those 4 free throws. Trailing by 1. Coming down to the last 2 minutes.
You know, absolutely. It could be 6 or 7 right now. Now, staying in that 2-3 zone. They're coming out, putting some pressure, and then dropping back into the baseline.
Travis Relaford seeing his first action as Little gets into foul trouble. They move it. Morningstar, the 3. Yes.
When you've got Morningstar away from the ball and you're playing a zone, you've got to move toward Morningstar. You just can't give him that kind of room on ball reversal.
Tigers attack. Don't get the foul call in underneath. Good defense by the Jayhawks. Markeith pulls down a rebound. Up 4, a minute 20. Back in control. Taylor drives it. Not there. 1 and done. Now Flip Pressey comes to the attack. They'll look for a score. And they got it. Out of Lawrence Bowers from the right corner.
You know, Bowers is a really good basketball player. He's quick, he sees, he knew he had the shot, he had his feet in position as he received the pass.
Now last minute here of the first half and what has been an outstanding first half of basketball. Morningstar, the J, short. Battle for the rebound, gets it back, dribbles it out. They can close out most of the seconds here in the first half. They can bring it down. Don't have to do anything till the last 10. Not quite synced up. Missouri knows they'll get a few seconds at the end of it.
Well, even if Kansas gets a bucket here, it's not going to be an 8 or 9 point lead at the half. And Missouri has done a really good job of keeping this game right in control.
Here they go. 10 seconds of go time. Pressey all over Morningstar, dribbles past, penetrates, kick corner. Pump fake. Relaford steps in and off the bench. Huge field goal. 3.9. Got to hurry now. Down 4 from midcourt. It's all. We welcome you back to ESPN's Big Monday. It's presented by Bud Light. It's part of Rivalry Week, presented by Cisco on ESPN. We're at the Fog Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, Kansas. And now for tonight's game track brought to you by Cisco. A 4-point lead, but note, 42, the most points the Jayhawks have allowed in a first half this season. And Coach Bob Knight, I've got to tell you, that zone, Kansas ate it up, didn't they?
Yeah, you know, I don't know why Missouri went into the zone, because they were doing a really good job of forcing Kansas to work hard to get something, and all of a sudden they went in a 2-3 zone. And as we look at it here, you're going to see that they just really didn't cover the left side of the floor. Kansas did a very good job looking for people. They hit a 3 there, and they're going to get another one here. It's just too far to come all the way out there and cover. The zone came too much to the ball. Now there's my favorite play, the shot fake. So that's a total of 8 points they scored quickly against the zone.
So the Jayhawks with the first possession. We should note that Denman has only 2 points. He came in as Mizzou's leading scorer, but there have been other scorers down low, and there is Keefe, and he traveled. They turned it over. Holly, what did Coach Self tell you about the Jayhawks?
Well, he said they've got to do a better job guarding Missouri's bigs. He said their bigs were 10 of 12 in that first half. He means Ratliff and Bowers. So look for lockdown defense on those guys. You can see it right now in the low post. But he also said we've got to quit relying on our jump shot. We've got to get the ball inside. And Marcus Morris has got to get involved.
Yeah, Ratliff 4 of 4, Bowers 6 of 8. So those are the 2 bigs that he is talking about. And Bowers now dribbling the ball at the free throw line. Bad pass. They've turned it over, kind of threw it up over his head, and Pressey had slipped on that side.
You know, I really like what the two Pressey kids have done. They've scored 11 points. They've had 3 assists. They've just had 1 turnover. That's the second time in a row they've gotten the ball into one of the Morris guys inside. So what Holly talked about relative to getting it into their big men, they've certainly gone at it in these first 2 possessions.
That is 3 fouls on Ratliff. That is a big number. Ricardo Ratliff, number 10, will leave right now, and Justin Safford will return to give him a little size. That's one of the problems that Mike Anderson has when he looks over at his bench, trying to get some size to match up with the Morris twins here. Knocked away, beautifully active, and down the floor they come. Pressey, and Bowers finishes it. What a look-away lob by young Pressey.
You know, not just that, but now they've drawn first blood in the half, and they've cut the lead from 4-2, so Missouri is right there in the ball game.
And Pressey called for a foul. That's his second.
Just be under control. Here's where Pressey looks away, as Brent said, and makes a great lob pass. You know, we talked about how good, you particularly, how good the Presseys have done at running things for them.
Reed rims out, but the putback, Marcus Morris, a big offensive rebound for the Jayhawks.
Morris moved into position there. The shot was taken. He didn't watch it. He looked to get position as the shot was going through the air, and he got it, and that's why he got the rebound. You've got to, when the offense takes a shot, the rebounders have got to be going to position, not waiting to see where the ball comes off.
Pressey gets his own miss, battles for it, kicks it to his brother. Crowd wanted traveling. They reset now with Denman.
Very good help defense on the perimeter by Taylor.
Bowers with that quick first step is cut off. Marcus on him. Flip sends it back outside to Denman. Denman penetrates. Denman rolls it in.
And there, just as he was a moment before that, very good with help side defense. Taylor stood and watched the drive.
Now Marcus, and 1. Bowers fouled him. That's his second.
Boy, look at the body control that Morris has here. Ball screen, he slides, he comes up, he goes down, he stays in the air. That's pretty good control of your body right there, Brent.
One of the things that's starting to mount, fouls on the Missouri starters here. Ratliff is out. 2 fouls on Bowers. Phil Pressey with a pair, and Matt Pressey with a pair.
Safford is a little bit more of a perimeter player actually than a post player, I think, but he's a smart kid. I mean, they're not going to be hurt with him in the ball game. Then we get a reaching foul.
That was Reed reaching in.
Anytime a guy has a ball on the perimeter, a quick kid, no matter who it might be, and he's facing the bucket, the defensive man on either side of the ball has got to move toward the basketball so they show that you're going to have to beat 2 of us, not 1 of us, to get to the bucket.
Now Rutherford will replace Reed, who leaves with 3 fouls, and he'll take a seat on Self's bench. Bowers puts it on the floor, loses control, picks it back up now. Matt Pressey, not this time. Taylor eyes the floor, tries to find daylight. Young Pressey stays with him. So does Bowers. And on the follow by Marcus, he'll be back on the free throw line.
Now they've got to really be careful here, Brent. Missouri does, because now Kansas is looking to get a 7-point lead, which would be their biggest lead of the ball game thus far. If Marcus converts these 2. You just don't want to let them get too far ahead of you, because then you press a little bit, you take a shot you shouldn't, you make a pass, you commit a foul, and all of a sudden you're looking at trying to catch up, and it's impossible.
Marcus has all 6 points for KU this half so far.
Boy, I really like for Missouri the ball in the Pressey's hands, actually, rather than Denman or Nixon. Let them work to get open, and the Pressey's will get them the ball.
Brother to brother, short on the shot, and a reach-in foul. Frustration by Matt Pressey.
I think that's the third or fourth personal foul already for Missouri. They've had 3, yeah.
And that's 3 on Matt. So Dixon will replace Matt Pressey. That will put Phil Pressey, the freshman, on the floor with Michael Dixon, and moves Michael a little bit off the ball, and that might help a little bit. Might give a little bit of a scoring spark. Taylor short on that shot, and the putback by Markeith.
That was that weak side block out, the side away from the ball that we were talking about. Nobody stepped in front of him, and he was able to come right in, get the rebound. Weak side block out.
Big miss. Rebound Markeith. Missouri's in the trouble zone. Things are getting away from him. Relaford with a pass to Marcus, and the Morris brothers.
Got to take a timeout here. They will.
Biggest lead of the night. You're watching Big Monday College Basketball on ESPN, presented by Bud Light. Hey fans, watch more than 1,000 college basketball games live online this season at ESPN3.com, including hundreds of out-of-market games from all the top conferences. Log on to ESPN3.com today for the complete schedule. We'll be back with more action after this. 15-19 left here in Lawrence. The Jayhawks with an 8-point lead. It's time for the big picture. Brought to you by Sony. So Pittsburgh, first game without the injured Ashton Gibbs, defeating West Virginia. And how about Michigan State in a free fall? Who can remember that from a Tom Izzo coach team? Wildcats road woes. They can't win on the road, but they go home tomorrow night, play Tennessee. That's on ESPN. Coach, do you remember Izzo ever having a problem like this with a team?
You know, that's going to happen, though. Tom's been so good, and the team's been so good, and then they've had some problems with a couple of kids, and they've had to reduce the roster a little bit, and it's just one of those years. Not every year is going to be one of those golden years, you know. You're going to have some in between.
Well, watch the inbound. This is something that they practiced this afternoon over and over. And they set it perfectly. And Marcus Morris flushes it and gets to the free throw line, and the Tigers are back in that danger zone. Here we come now. Dixon back on the floor. He'll run the Tigers. Denman fires up a 3-ball, his first 3 of the game. So he's coming alive. So hard to match up with the Morris twins. And Relaford answers with a 3.
So Kansas is keeping that margin right now, and Missouri has got to stay with them or it's going to get away from them.
Safford steps out. He misses. Bowers, strong offensive rebound, and wraparound's good. Good offensive rebound.
Well, that was a great rebound by Stafford. I mean, by Safford. He got up into the air, and he muscled his way back up to the bucket. But that's a help side rebound again.
Yeah, Bowers did a good job after Safford had stepped out and tried that 3. And now here comes Taylor. Misses on the 3. One and done. Tigers coming down again. And a foul is going to be called. I believe it's on Markeith. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I said Safford. Bowers has been very good for them, Brett, throughout the whole course of the ball game. He's done a really good job with them. He's out around the boards, and there he just out-muscled one of the Morris guys, which is not easy to do.
And Markeith going over to the sideline. They want to take a look at this foul. Let us take another look at this one. This was pretty aggressive and underneath. What'd you think about this one?
Well, right there. Oh,
I'm telling you,
that's a
late
foul.
Left hand. That could be a flagrant.
That's going to be a problem right there. The two kids just got mixed up a little bit in here to start with. and their arms crossed. But what he did in getting untangled is going to create a problem for Kansas, I think. I'll be surprised if they don't get a flagrant foul out of this. Either that or they've warned them. I think they're going to shoot it.
He's going to come over and Tom Eads. He'll come over and tell Bob. Yeah. So the intentional has been called, and Coach Knight confirms it with the referees. Always good when Coach Knight tells them they're doing a good job.
Well, these guys are good. I like these guys.
So here comes Safford up now. He'll shoot a couple.
Now this could be a huge play. You know, this can cut it from 9 to 7. Now there it's 8, and it was just absolutely unnecessary. Safford got tangled up with Morris, and when Morris went away, he smacked him in the head with a forearm. That's just not necessary.
Hey,
You're going to see it right here. They're tangled. Nothing wrong there. But right there, you just don't need that. That's I'm surprised that they didn't eject him from the game.
Well, Bill Self has done the next best thing. He's put he and his brother over on the bench. That was Markeith, and so Relaford will be out here. Little's back on the floor. Reed, Taylor, Safford fires and rims out, and Relaford with a rebound, and here comes Taylor now. Taylor puts it down, drives to the glass, battle for the rebound, and that's going to go against Mizzou.
Again, as we mentioned a little while ago, maybe mentioned a couple of times, when a drive comes down, let's say like it did there on the right-hand side, if you can't get to the driver, you've got to make sure that you keep help side rebounding away from the ball. And this is another case of Kansas coming in from the opposite side on a drive and getting a rebound and having a chance to score.
So Moore checks in for Mizzou. And Bowers will leave. 3 personal fouls, so he'll take a break. Mike trying to rest his big guys for the stretch. A little bit of foul problems over there. Robinson knocks down the 2 free throws. 67-58, 13-54.
Moore came off the bench in the first half and gave him 3 or 4 really good minutes.
Dixon takes it into trouble again. And here come the Jayhawks. Little, baseline, spins, trap, Robinson flushes. Little to Robinson.
You just got to force the guy to that baseline, make that baseline a defensive player, and they didn't do it there. They let him penetrate all the way to the bucket.
Denman is fouled. Relaford cuts him off and picks up the personal.
And we're going to see pretty good ball movement here. Look, now there's the fake. They've got to shut him off when he's on the baseline. And then again, the help side defense was standing watching.
Moore is on the floor. Kim English is also off the Mizzou bench now with Denman, Dixon, and Safford. Here's Safford again. That's a 2.
That's a big bucket right there. Taylor's done a pretty good job with the ball. He's had it a lot. Penetrate. Make sure that he's got something if he does penetrate.
Robinson's doubled. Safford went to help. 13 on the shot. Reed puts it down. He's cut off. Now it's Relaford with 8 on the shot. Got up in the air. Gives it now to Little. And with 4, he drains a 3-ball. Mario Little here tonight.
No, Little did a great job of getting set. That was about all they had was that shot. He got his feet in great position, and he concentrated on the shot.
Dixon misses at the other end. Gets it back on the turnover. Huge possession. Dixon picked it up and almost traveled.
I think it was a little bit more than almost, actually.
I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
You're a kind-hearted guy.
Denman. Boy, do they need this. And they don't get it. Robinson controls. And the Jayhawks are applying the vice.
Now, this is where they really want to be patient. Get a really good chance to score.
And it's Rutherford. They're raining 3 balls suddenly here in Lawrence.
Rutherford was open. I'm not sure it was a great chance to score, but he'd hit one, and I think he felt he was going to hit another one. That's your kind of shot. Rutherford gets set up really well. He catches the ball. He turns into the shot. He's got good balance. Gets up. Good follow through. Huge basket.
And watch Little as he ties his career high here tonight, Coach. Talk about feeling it. Mario Little. He's a senior out of Chicago, 6'6". And he's having a career night here in the border rivalry between Kansas and Missouri. And the Jayhawks now are in complete control. And remember, they did it spurted here at the end with the Morris twins over on the bench.
Well, they've really dominated thus far. We've played 8.5 minutes, and they've increased their lead by about 11 points, 10 or 11 points in that 8.5 minutes. This has been the strongest point, these 8 minutes for Kansas, and the weakest for Missouri.
And, of course, young Selby out with a foot injury, expected back this weekend by Coach Self. Prussie back on the floor. The brothers are missing the threes. Head man is Robinson. He runs the floor beautifully for a big man. Bumped, lost it, turned over, fouled.
Yeah.
This is on Ratliff. That's 4. You're watching Big Monday College Basketball on ESPN, presented by Bud Light. Hey, fans, watch more than 1,000 college basketball games live online this season at ESPN3.com, including hundreds of out-of-market games from all the top conferences. Log on to ESPN3.com today for the complete schedule. We'll be back with more action after this. Hey, welcome you back to ESPN's Big Monday. It's presented by Bud Light. It's part of Rivalry Week, and it's presented by Cisco on ESPN. The Fog Allen Fieldhouse, Lawrence, Kansas, and the Jayhawks are closing in on win number 23. More great games tomorrow. Indiana at Purdue. And then from that game, we'll take you down SEC way, Lexington, Kentucky, Tennessee, and the Kentucky Wildcats. You know, Coach, you're becoming really popular with the women. Wherever I go, I was at breakfast this morning at the Argosy, and those nice ladies said to me, you know, that captain, that coach, I said, no, ma'am, he's a general. But the ladies, they like you. Get on the air.
They understand me.
Here comes Denman throwing it up and in with the left hand. Three minutes now to go.
This is really good for Kansas to work against the press here a little bit at the end of the game. Now they go back pretty patient. I think Taylor's played very well in this game. He's played within himself. He's created a lot of situations for other people with his driving ability.
Marcus kicks over, and Reed drains the 3-ball. 100 points for the Jayhawks.
It's got to be really disappointing for Missouri to come in and get beat again, and particularly get beat pretty soundly here in the second half. But I think they can take a lot of things away from this. And I think a lot of the things that they have done, their patience, the use of the presses, are going to really pay off for them here through the rest of the season.
As a coach would say, it's a process more than anything else. 100-86, our final 2 minutes.
Kansas has not gotten sloppy at all here in the second half. They've continued to move and cut and work to get shots.
Marcus, and he is fouled. And so, Holly, at practice yesterday, you got a good dose of how the Jayhawks prepared for the full-court press of Missouri.
Well, that's right. Bill Self had his team of 5 going against 8 scout team players. And, guys, I thought a rugby match had broken out. He didn't slow it down. He didn't blow a whistle. He just let those scout team guys beat up on the 5 starters, and they were going hard. That has really paid off tonight because Kansas below their season average in turnovers tonight. And look at some of the wounds that took place in that practice last night. Tyrell Reed got the worst of it, a pretty nasty wound. But guys, I think that practice, 8 guys against 5, swarming all over the floor last night. Look at this. This was one of his own guys that did this to him in the practice. And if he can withstand that against his scout team players, this Missouri press wasn't going to affect them tonight.
You know, that's what Holly's talking about, is essentially what you've got to do if you're going to learn to handle the press. You observe when there's 7 guys out there playing defense, you've got to have great observation and then great execution. And that's how you never work against 5 people. You always work against 7, at least when you're going up against a team that presses.
So the final 128. And that familiar chant at Fog Allen. Taylor adds 2 more. Recklow misfires. So one of the teams in the country that is equipped to make a run all the way to Houston. The Kansas Jayhawks run their record to 23-1. The buzzer, shot clock violation, final 8 seconds coming up. We want to take a look at who delivered our player of the game. And it is brought to you by Teleflor. We're going to go with Mario Little. A career high 17 points off of that bench tonight.
And some really big points in the first half when they were, you know, back and forth.
That'll do it. 12 straight times the Kansas Jayhawks have beaten the Missouri Tigers here in Lawrence.